What if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that the most authentic hip-hop love tale was based on a 20-year lie? What if I told you that Remy Huma did more than just conceal a secret? She named it, raised it, and allowed Papoose to think for 20 years that he was the father of a child who was never his because, let's just say, a sealed DNA test was leaked a few days ago, and what it showed walked off the stage with a bang. It turns out that the real father of Jason Scott Ree's eldest child, whom we all assumed Papoose reared with pride like his own, is a well-known rapper who formerly swapped bars with Papoose, and possibly more than just the mic with Remy Ma. Papoose now knows the fans are aware, and a single query is circulating the streets: who has been the father all along? Because as soon as that moniker was dropped, the internet a meltdown that has yet to subside. This is generational deception, not simply betrayal. And you won't ever look at Remy the same way after we're done. Let us clarify one point, ladies and gentlemen. This is not your typical scandal involving cheating. This stolen document, which is the culmination of 20 years of quiet allegiance and deception, has completely upended the basis of hip-hop's most acclaimed power couple. Due to, as far as supporters can recall, Papoose's son was Jason Scott. He brought him up, protected him, referred to him as Young King, and shared old photos of him on Father's Day like clockwork, even though they weren't blood relatives. Papoose was admired by everyone for acting like a true man. However, what if he didn't voluntarily step up? What if he started telling lies? Let's go all the way back to the time before the wedding, the fairy story, and the prison loyalty tale that became legendary thanks to Remy and Pap. Let's discuss the current situation. Remy's mother made a choice she believed she could carry with her forever. According to family sources, things were chaotic when Remy discovered she was expecting Jason. Extremely disorganized, she was garnering notoriety in the Bronx while fighting in a filthy basement, and was reportedly embroiled in a complex issue involving two different males. Among them is a rapper from the underground who would eventually become well known. We won't reveal the name just yet, but let's say that he has platinum plaques, well-known feuds, and numerous baby mama scandals of his own. Insiders claim that Remy never had a paternity test at the time, choosing to keep quiet over causing trouble. She raised Jason by herself for a while before Papoose arrived. A devoted, present-loving man who was ready to be the man the baby needed. And that's just what he turned into. Papoose wore the father title as a badge of honor for years, and Remy allowed it. However, earlier this year, something minor but catastrophic occurred. Jason had a family health concern that led to a hospital stay. Regular genetic testing during the procedure prompted concerns. Queries. Insiders claim that Papoose confronted Remy, but she denied it. He pressed harder, she said. She would take the test merely to silence him. Then everything fell apart. Father, when the findings were released, the most barbaric aspect is that the dad who supported Remy through jail, tabloids, rumors, and public disdain was never biologically related to the boy he loved like his own. He claimed to have known his true father for the whole duration. Let that sink in. A hairstylist who previously worked on a Remy picture shoot claims that even the glamorous crew got tea in the gossip spill vibe, under the alias Uncle. This unidentified rapper was seen delivering Jason's birthday presents and sneaker insert passes. He seemed more like a shadow father than an uncle. Wait, though, because according to the same source, this rapper made a covert attempt to get back in touch with Remy in 2011. Interviews, no pictures, just direct messages, and guess who supposedly spotted one of those DMs in the past and was never able to forget it? Yes, Papoose. Evidently, he ignored it at the time, thinking it was unimportant. But now everything Remy said and did took time to make sense. And everything fell apart when the DNA results fell into his lap. According to reports, Papoose was crushed. Not irate, not shouting, just a kind of silent hurt. Stillness that only results from recognizing the falsity of your entire foundation. However, don't misunderstand. He wasn't content to sit there and weep. Pap reportedly left the house that evening without any bags. No farewell, just keys on the counter and an "I'm done" Remy expression. She seemed emotionless. She knew this day might arrive, not because she didn't care, so why now? Why, after all these years, would the truth eventually surface? According to some, the hospital was the cause. Others claim the real father has been working behind the scenes, while others blame it on guilt. He is rumored to desire to take over. He wants recognition legally as well as monetarily, and he is prepared to go to court for it? Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of a custody struggle, a legacy battle, and more than just a secret baby daddy disclosure. Complete historical revision of all we knew about Remy Ma's kid, the man we all assumed served as the model for Black love. Now, let's discuss names. Because Fat Joe, Big Pun's former protege, a Bronx icon in his own right, has now emerged like a ghost from the past following weeks of conjecture, deleted tweets, and whisper campaigns on hip-hop Twitter. Yes, you did read that. Correct, the same Fat Joe that introduced Remy to the man who dressed her up as a member of Terror Squad. From 2000 to 2007, the man who called her sis on all of her tracks. Fans of Fat Joe had been making jokes about it for years, saying that in some verses the relationship between Remy and Joe felt too real. However, nobody had anticipated this until recently, as a fan account discovered footage from a 2004 radio freestyle where Fat Joe said something that seemed like a barb at the time. But today, it seems like a confession. She didn't claim anything else, but I told her the name of the flower. She hasn't claimed anything else. The streets are now interpreting that bar in a completely different way, and fam. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Reddit was struck by another leak. An old backstage video of the Terror Squad that shows Joe clutching a kid. There is no formal evidence to support the claims that a toddler was Jason. Of course. But paperwork is not necessary to ignite a fire on the internet. Comment sections were exploding. Forums melted. Individuals began gathering side-by-side comparisons between Joe and Jason, their jawline, nose, and even their posture when speaking. So y'all telling me Papoose raised a mini Fat Joe and Remy never said a word, was the headline of one widely shared tweet, and the responses are utterly barbaric. Joe has been while raising child in her home. He called her sis. For his degree of composure, Pap merits a Peace Prize. The largest response, though, came from Fat Joe himself. Whether it was pressure, guilt, or just ego, Joe stepped on Instagram Live 2 nights ago and said this: "It seems like Remy really played the long game. Although people chat a lot, I never discuss family matters unless the family brings it up. That's all to must say. God bless you." What? No denial, no shutdown, just smirking and ambiguous wisdom. Papoose, however, has yet to make any public statements. However, according to insiders, he hasn't gone home since the evening he saw the results and is currently speaking with legal counsel. Remy continues to post regular stuff in the interim. Studio time versus throwback selfies with cryptic messages, and smiles that convey the idea that the truth always finds a way. Fans of Nerve feel deceived. Not because of the secret alone, but also because Remy created a whole brand centered on openness, enduring adversity with your mate, devotion, trust, and enduring Black love. Now, it all seems like marketing. Although Joe's followers are out, they're throwing curveballs to Papoose's. Fans are incensed, claiming that he was humiliated by being more loyal to Jason than his own father ever was. At least he not running. It is better late than never. He might be a true father now. Additionally, Jason's radio silence, with the exception of one hazy Instagram story from last week, in which he shared a picture of himself wearing a Terror Squad hoodie in the studio without a caption. Only a DNA emoji, loud but subtle, given that Joe has been giving presents and making silent appearances. The question now becomes whether it is just one of those industry secrets that everyone knew but was afraid to discuss. Wasn't a chance turn of events in Jason's life? This was planned dishonesty. Even worse, legal threats have already begun, based on a letter that was leaked, which might or might not be authentic because Joe apparently seeks rights and maybe custody. His team has filed an intent to pursue legal guardianship modification, thereby forcing a formal admission of his fatherhood in court. Yes, I've heard that there may be more to this than just a controversy. Remy Ma might have to explain too. The world how she concealed the truth from not one but two men for more than 20 years if this turns out to be a removal. It's the quiet before the storm in the courtroom. All eyes are on the one person caught in the midst of this issue now. That Fat Joe's name is formally in the mix and Papoose has vanished. According to Jason, the 23-year-old has been keeping quiet, avoiding attention, and evading requests from the media. However, he has reportedly been subpoenaed to testify in a private custody review behind the scenes. Yes, you heard correctly. Isn't just a family problem anymore. A legal battle. Fat Joe's crew is attempting to get what they refer to as retroactive recognition. According to documents that a gossip site with too much time and not enough cool discovered, it basically says that Joe desires for the court to officially recognize him as Jason's biological father and grant him the legal right to financial and public recognition. Why now? Since Jason is reportedly set to start his own singing career. Yes, he has been collaborating behind the scenes with producers connected to Joe's group. And there are rumors that Joe doesn't want the name Mackey associated with his alleged ancestry. Well, that's where things turn really frigid. What about Remy? A 17-second audio memo surfaced last night. It's supposedly Remy Ma sobbing and whispering over her phone despite the poor audio quality. I lied to survive, not to harm him, and now everything is ruined. Within minutes, the voice message was removed. However, the internet never forgets. Every blog from the Shade Room to Gossip Spill, Vibe Zone, TikTok, cut, remixed, and shared. Fans are split on this. Some people understand the calling. It was a mother's error. Some people are brutal. He made a sacrifice, and you lived. This is more than just a falsehood. Years of manipulation have led to this. Like a pawn, she let that man raise another man's child. In the meantime, legal experts expect that Papoose may really bring a civil, emotional damages lawsuit if Fat Joe prevails. Yes, he might bring a lawsuit against Remy for willfully deceiving him into becoming a father under false pretenses. This is the first time in hip-hop history that a paternity dispute has escalated into a possible legal retaliation, and the anxiety is permeating the business. Artists are picking sides. According to a New York rapper, Remy's my sister, but what she did ain't it. This is why men don't trust anybody, tweeted another well-known Fat Joe partner. Papoose deserved better. You guys better leave Remy alone before she starts throwing hands. Cardi B even warned live. That remains a legend in the Bronx. The public is divided. Jason, who is at the center of the mayhem on the internet, has yet to comment. But according to someone close to him, he is thinking of changing his last name from Jason Mackey to Jason Cartagena. You are already aware of that. The final query is now stays. What does it make Remy if Joe is given fatherhood? Jason publicly changes his identity, and Papoose is emotionally and legally erased. A manipulator, a mastermind, and a mother. That is the point of contention, and the whole truth is yet unknown. However, one thing is evident. Family we all admired and who taught us the value of unconditional love and second chances has been destroyed. Regardless of whether a reconciliation is reached. Since there are no winners in this story, just receipts, in this time they have names, dates, and DNA. We will be here to dissect any legal action or outright character assassination. The only question that remains is where this story ends. Now that the DNA has been released, the lies have been revealed, and the courtroom lights are rising. Does Papoose leave? Does Jason take back his ancestry and change his name to Fat Joe's? Either permanently or retaliate in court for the years he missed, and Remy, is this the last phase of a career based on unwavering loyalty, toughness, and truth? You have heard the murmurs. Have you looked at the receipts? However, believe us, the storm hasn't even reached its zenith yet. Since the internet never forgets, there are new leaks, angles, and betrayals in this story every day. Be sure to hit like, smash, subscribe, and drop your ideas in the remarks section below. Was Remy playing with her family, or was she defending them? Because there is no doubt that this drama is only beginning, and that Celebrity Tycoon will continue to reveal secrets till the very end.